Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Sometimes Kingdom live play, part 2 of the House of Eaves, our autumnal adventure in the weathery worlds of Season's Keep. Part 2 is called The Basement for reasons that will become incredibly obvious very quickly. Let's go around and introduce all of the players and their characters real quick.
Who do you want to have start, Ethan?
Let's start with you, wife.
Great. I'm DCI Beans. That stands for Detective Chief Inspector. And Beans is not my name. It's Bean Crisp Mint Lawn Jaggerwall, but people just call me Beans. And I was, until recently, a human. Now I am a skunk. Either way, I am an unnaturalist, a detective of magical detecting arts. And I am from this area in which we are having a haunted house, but I have been away because of being turned into a skunk. Now I'm underground, I think.
Yes, you're all underground. Let's go to you, Ben.
Hi, I'm Ben Ferber, and I'm playing Fasole Giltzaruna, a knight of the Bone Kugel, and he is he's a demon, so he has bright red skin and bright red, like, curvy devil horns in a slightly less bright red full suit of armor. He insists that he is an angel. He is brothers with Hirsute, who we'll be hearing about in a second, and he is indeed trapped in a basement.
That's great. Let's move on to Jeff.
Hello, I'm Jeff, and I am playing. Fuck, I already fucked up. The voice will change several times.
You only made it better.
Her suit is me, and I'm with my brother. And if he says he's an angel, he's an angel, and I'll stab you. I guess I don't know. I mean, if he asks me to stab you, I'll probably stab you. And I'm wearing a vest of the same color as the armor. That's what the needle wears. That's like their main thing. The vest.
Vests are optional, but they're sort of, I guess, like flair that is pretty typical of the industry.
Did you mention you're a skeleton?
Oh
yeah, I'm also a skeleton.
It's also a skeleton.
We're
And
related,
and moving on to Erica.
Hi, I'm Erica, and I am playing Bessemer Neversing, who is, though you haven't really heard this yet, she's a healer and an alienist in her specifications. And if you're going to imagine her physically, if you would like to take the poise and togetherness of the wardrobe of what's-her-face, the woman who controlled MI6 and killing Eve, and add a bit of witchiness to that, that would be, it's very posh, very together, but also like, a bit fucked.
A bit witchy, a bit fucked.
Just a bit fucked, yeah.
And my name is Ethan Gould. I go professionally as Ethan Gouldini. I am the co-creator of the Sometimes Kingdom tabletop role-playing game and the creator of the Sometimes Kingdom. And we are going to be playing very shortly part 2 of the Sometimes Kingdom's awesome autumn campaign, The House of Eaves. To recap, in the retro and weathery realm of Season's Keep, where it's always a little bit yesterday, the fantasy sister realm to Earth, the autumnal island of Copia, specifically the city known as the splendid port of Turnip, located on its wispy western shores, decided to hold a pavilion of the seasons and make some lucre from the craze sweeping the islands of Season's Keep. That is, a commercial Halloween from the regular world, as the unfamiliar Earth is frequently referred to. There, beyond the steps of Par, the highlands of Gedney and the furniture district of Turpintown, Copia played host to not one, but 4 haunted houses, one for each seasonal island of Season's Keep. The House of Heat from Summerside, the House of Greens for its jostling partner Springside, the House of Breeze, created by Autumnal Copia's finest scenic carpenters, and the House of Freeze from the winter island of Interhart. Interhart, known for its incredibly creepy vibes, shipped over a fully complete, fully functioning, fully scare-filled haunted house in full. The House of Freeze, with its snowstorm-covered exterior and bleeding walls, was an instant success in Copia. Unfortunately, as our adventurers discovered, the flora around the pavilion was dying. Several workers have gone missing, and even the ghosts working the haunted houses are terrified that something is haunting the haunters. Everyone is blaming winter, which is typical for this sort of thing, and it threatens the shaky economic and political relations between the seasons, which are, at this moment in time, not great. Threatening a walkout, the ghosts and human folk working all 4 haunted houses in the seasonal pavilion of Copia have put out a quest call, and the 4 adventurers chosen, a skunk investigator, a body witch mind healer, a skeleton, and his demon knight brother, have convened in the port of Turnip via a superfast skeletal carriage and a ship which crashed into the docks, respectively. Soon put together interviews and sussed out that the special events manager Arson Fahrenheiter was waffling about the facts. 2 workers, the superb skeleton actor Barrick Sexcamier and a talking fox named Exbenine, had both disappeared. Using a combination of magically destructive cardboard lightning spells and the magic powers of skunkly deduction, the adventurers pinpointed the spot where the skeleton thespian had vanished and searched a hole in the ground behind the wintry house of Freeze. They discovered that beneath all 4 haunted houses lurked an old-looking basement level, which should not have been there. A torrent of dark liquid coursed deep below, its earthen walls covered in wet moss, the dark space catty-cornered with hazardous wooden walkways and rotting rope bridges. Through various achromatic and gravitational accelerating means, the adventurers climbed, leapt, and fell their way down to the walkways, and found the missing skeleton actor Barracks, who, injured in just a torso and a skull now, was quickly mended by the body witch Bessemer. Barracks, relieved, told them the awful truth. The House of Eaves, which they now found themselves standing in, had grabbed and attacked him. Oh!
Well, thank you for the assist. Presumably licensed adventurers. I don't really care, honestly. I'm just glad to not be tripping Marrow down into the nether realm of this nether realm. Prithee, what's the plan aside from why don't we just leave here? Why don't we go away? Why don't we just leave from whence you came and we never talk about this again? I think that's a great plan.
It's not a bad plan. I mean, we could just leave, right? If we can figure out how to get back up. We kind of roped down or whatever. There's still some rope lying about.
Yeah, I think that we have concluded that the house itself is evil, and I think our job is done, actually, at that point.
Are we in the house or are we in the basement?
Hard to tell. It's like a jungle canyon rope bridges situation, like
on.
many houses.
Brother, we do not need to have this argument again. The basement is part of the house.
I disagree. The basement is never part of the house.
It is literally on the grounds. Is when you buy a house, the basement is included. It's not a separate lease. It's the same lease.
When there's a hurricane, the basement does not get knocked over because it's already in.
Okay, that
How does
can
the
anyone
house in the basement feel about it, though?
Well, that's an interesting question. Bessemer, if you'd like to roll to try and perceive, you can maybe try and find out how the basement feels about it.
You know what? I would actually love to know how the basement feels about whether or not it's a part of the house. So, with that, what am I rolling?
I think that would be either reason or will.
I'd like it to be reason.
So you're just going to go into your own
I think it's
training.
and I rolled a 9.
Yeah, well, your keen insight into the mind's eye and the way that in many ways a mind palace can sometimes be a mind house. You've determined that in some cases the basement is sometimes part of a house, and sometimes the basement is not part of the house. Looking around right now, you notice that the architecture of this place seems positively old in comparison to the very eclectic and very different architecture above. So it may be part of the houses above, or it may be its own thing going on. But you do get a sense that it's been down here for a while, and it very well might not like people.
Guys,
people?
I'm not quite sure. Well, I've learned a lot about basements and houses and their feelings, but I, in particular, have learned that this particular basement does not particularly like us, especially being here. So, thought you should know. I'm also just observing, and take this as you will. Architecture experience and history fanatics abide. Just notice the difference in the material and the finish and the design. This has been here a long, long time, and those have not. So maybe that.
Excellent.
It's
no,
also a
thank
lot
you.
less safe in here. I feel like when we toured the other houses, there were standards, basic safety standards.
Yes, this place which I've unfortunately found myself in and torn asunder is, seems like it's a playground designed by fanatics. This is certainly not up to any sort of codes that I'm familiar with. Not that I have had much architectural experience outside of the grand stage and some minor stages as well.
I'm only an EMC, but I do believe that Equity would have things to say about this.
Yeah. Putting aside the nature of the show, I guess the question is our job just to deduce there is a problem, which we kind of already knew with the houses, or to sort of get to the root of it and solve it, which is maybe going above and beyond, but that might just be how we do things here in Turnip.
I really don't think anyone would be satisfied just to hear that, yes, they are validated and correct. There is, in fact, a problem.
Actually, I would be very satisfied. Actually.
I stand correct.
Yes, that's fantastic. So tell me, what did you come down? Did you descend from the rafters, or I guess from the regular places down into the subaltern? Was there a hole? How are you
Beans
here?
blued up the ground.
Great,
Yeah.
let's go back there.
Typical policing technique, you make a giant hole in the ground and jump into it. You usually solve the crime. Everyone knows this who has ever been a detective. But I think our question is, if we go back up, would we actually solve anything? No, we would simply have elucidated what is already known.
Look, this is a greater scope problem. Can we agree on we are not equipped to defeat a foundation?
Have you ever defeated a foundation before?
No.
And have you ever tried?
Yes.
Tell
Does
me.
the foundation want something? This is an interesting question.
Right.
The foundations usually
And
want
if you
something.
give a foundation what it wants, are you defeating it?
No,
Or
I would say
are
no.
you aiding it? But if you get what you want, is that still counting as a defeat?
Yes, these are all very good epistemic questions that you're all proffering. However, I'm noticing, aside from the torch, it's quite dark here. Did the hole that you come? Has it closed up?
Almost definitely.
Well,
Has it closed up?
it did indeed. At the very end of our last portion of this adventure, Arseny Fahrenheither had been calling from the hole, and it had, like it had prior with barracks, sealed itself back up again. So,
Oh no.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, shit. That's hedgehogs. That's unfortunate.
Well, so obviously the only way forward is through. So now this has temporarily resolved the argument about to call for backup now or call for backup later. First, we move forward.
Alternatively, go back to where you came and ferociously dig at the ceiling, clawing and scraping until we're simply back where we started. You forget this all happened and never talk about it again.
Can I roll another perception style check? Because I'd like to know if this house is alive in some sense.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think it's clear the house has malice.
Right, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's living, and what is living in quotation marks. What would you like me to roll?
For this one, I think roll reason once again.
Okay.
I want to look for a staircase, by the way.
Ooh,
What'd you get?
Yeah.
it wasn't good.
We're good.
Oh no, ma. Oh no. Oh no.
So you're not even sure that this is the basement. You feel like at this point, maybe it's distinctly possible. Like maybe this is the upper part of the house. You know, a basement is a relative term to things below and above it. So
Yeah.
Oh,
I start looking for ways down then.
the walkways are very sort of hazardous. They seem to be a real hodgepodge of old and new wood, along with some rope bridges, some of which seem to be in quite a rotting state, and some of them seem to be relatively new in comparison. About 15 to 20 feet down below them
I'm sorry. Did you say erotic state?
A rotting state.
Oh.
Although, I mean,
Though,
I
if
don't
that
know.
be erotic for you.
I'm
I'm not
imagining like
going
a
to
naughty
say.
banister.
Oh,
like
it's a naughty
like a
banister.
mermaid
It's very
style.
coy, very.
Yeah. This is a
Like,
demure
smack you
staircase.
on the ass when you
Yeah.
walk by or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it is a haunted house, so that is a pretty classic 19-something. What year is it? Doesn't matter. So about 20 feet below, on old dock-like wooden pylons, there seems to be like an Icarus liquid that is sort of flowing by in the dark. The walkways seem to be about 2 stories up and down with themselves, and then below that are the pylons and then the water.
In
Climbing
what direction
down,
is the water flowing?
the water is flowing to the north.
Great. I'm walking in that direction and
Ha.
down, climbing. That
Climbing
no one
down.
stopped me. I'm just going.
So are you trying to get straight down, or are you trying to move? You're trying to move north.
Very
north
creative
and down.
about it. I'm going. We're climbing. This time we want to walk across a wee thing. Have we got a bit of rope that doesn't feel quite rotted? And we're climbing down. It's erratic and it looks very good, but if you were to actually assess it, you'd know she's totally winging it. She's just like, where do I feel like I want to go? Down.
As you are walking north from where you are, you notice that the temperature of where you are, like the dripping of the water, sort of ceases a little bit. It's still wet and whatnot. But a bit of a breeze starts blowing through. You actually start feeling like at the juncture of like one part and another, there's sort of a sudden weather change. It's a little bit warmer, but it's clammier. It's breezier, but it's more wistful somehow. And there are definitely big piles of rotting leaves in various like piles. Like so now as you're walking around, there's a very loud crunch, crunch, crunch.
I think Fasole is like doing as many like loud crunches as possible.
Just sort of stopping.
Like, he already like if you've played Final Fantasy 9, you know how like Steiner walks around and it's like with his metal armor. I think
That's
he
very
already
evocative.
sounds like that.
Yeah.
But it's now like with the crunches of leaves under it.
So at that point, Barracks, I can't remember, one of you I think sort of had lashed him or like was holding the torso and neck and like one arm of Barracks. Who's got Barracks? The legless
I got him.
who needs to be repaired. Okay. So you have him, and he sort of like starts, drumming on your scapula, your left scapula, being like, "Oh, everybody has to cease your perambulating."
I actually haven't started moving yet.
Yeah, so all of you will just get the word out. You have to see you're making such a clamor down here. I was torn asunder. You don't understand. By who I know not, but we are not alone in some capacity here.
You were torn asunder, but you did not get any look at your assailant. Like, was it a big, small?
No, I was dragged down into the earth, through the cold ground, and into this spot here, and in the dark. I heard a great breathing sound of some kind, and then I was torn asunder.
Like a huffy, like
more like a. He sort of gets his. Let me get my vibrato and my non-existent, trachea. It was more like a. In fact, it was exactly like that. So.
That was very well done.
Thank you. I've been on the stage for some 400 years.
A master sound of the haunted house.
So there's
Yes. In fact, I should say one of my. I feel almost a little bit usurped. One of my appointed jobs was in fact to work the sounds in the house of all various houses, the house of Breeze, the house of Freeze. I rotated quite frequently, you see, because I'm such a excellent, if you don't mind me saying so, sound effect artiste among many other skills. But in any case.
Police Academy.
That's right.
What is a police?
So can you remind us just where, like, we're in this basement with the Jungle Canyon rope bridges that are rotting, and we found Bessemer rather has found a way forward, which is going down, and there's some leaves.
Yeah.
Where are we? Like, we're further. We're like, go climbing down.
So if this was a quadrant, you divided it to four spaces. You are on the right hand side of it, where you blew a hole through the side of the House of Eaves, and it quickly healed itself up as you came down, and all this dripping water is coming from the area right above you from the House of Eaves, and Bessemer's making her way north or forward and down, and in that in doing so has started encountering these crunchy leaves and this clammy climate change.
But I mean, we're all on like Jungle Canyon rope bridges, or like it's like a floor. Like what's below us? I guess
it's like a combination. It's like a combination of a really hazardous narrow boardwalks that are all sort of poorly connected together with wooden planks, and off of those wooden planks are coming jungle rope bridges.
So we have no sense. It's like a pretty big drop beneath us if we were to like jump.
Yeah, there's about 2 stories of up and down on these sort of rickety staircases and these sort of rope bridges, and then below that, as Bessemer has just discovered, like past that sort of 2-story mark, it is about a 20-foot drop into very dark and rushing water.
Okay. Dark and rushing water. Okay. Dantean.
Dantean indeed. Stygian, you might say.
Are we all and I guess, should we all just follow Bessemer? That team, should we let's all stick together, or should we all split up, because that's usually effective and not at all hilarious to be in different locations in a haunted place.
It's extra safe.
Super safe, yeah, to split up. So
My arms are crossed.
I yell, strength in fewer numbers.
Actually, real quick, is there any way upwards?
Yeah, you can take a look around and see there probably is the gangways of these sort of like these walkways and these planks. They seem to go in lots of different directions, but I think that if you explore a little bit, you probably will see that some of them might lead up as well as down.
Any signs of the fox, I guess, is the other thing.
There is no sign of the fox currently. Was that a player, or was that a hirsute?
Hirsute is looking for the fox because we were asked to look for the fox. I mean, I guess he actually, in the end of the day, he doesn't care. So what am I gonna do?
So sort of lackadaisically looking around. If you see a fox, great. If you don't see a fox, sure.
Yeah,
fox-shaped objects. Yeah,
I guess he's not super concerned, because if he dies, it's not the end of the world. So
we could meet a fox skeleton.
Yeah, I've never met one.
I think they're less fluffy.
Almost.
Oh well, the jury's out on animal skeletons. It's a very hazardous process of death and dying and becoming undead again, as we're all familiar with. It's a tricky thing. It might be quite some time before we meet our fox friend if he becomes a skeleton. I feel like the Union would be quite displeased if they don't get that's sort of the opposite of solidarity, but 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Huge ears.
Are you anxiety talking? I yell that from down below.
Yeah, I race after Bessemer. I want to figure out what's going on here. So I'm completely ignoring the idea that this old skeleton, who knows nothing, has learned absolutely nothing about the predicament, is going to help.
Yeah.
Okay. As you're now DCI Beans and Bessemer have found themselves darker in darker clammier confines, slightly below, and you see that the quality of where you are is getting a little bit denser. There are less and less rope bridgey and rotting erotic ropes, and more scaffolding, more and more planks and beams, all sort of knocked together, passed and wedged into tighter confines. It's becoming a little bit tight, but I think that you, as a skunk, probably don't have much of a difficulty navigating it at all. Bessemer, I think that if you'd like to go further, you will have to do a move check.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Alrighty. And just a reminder, as part of the grit system, should you have grit, you can always burn grit to increase the odds in your favor, should you so desire. Although I believe at this point, many of you are now currently running quite low on grit.
I just rolled a nat 6, so
That's a success. You
yeah.
you so it is hazardous, but you are looking at DCI Beans quite astutely and seeing the path that he energetically takes. And so you are able to very quickly and flexibly bend and bob and weave, and you've already proven your skill both trammeling down, is that the right word? Traversing down in the hole and leaping onto the scaffolding in the first place and bringing the rope with you that allowed the other adventurers to make their way down as well, those that didn't fall. So yeah, you are, well, he said politely. So you are now in a very dense, it feels to a certain extent like some combination of the frame of a house before drywall or any sort of wall at all was put up, and also a bit like backstage.
Ooh,
It is, yeah. It's dense and dark, and it smells of wood,
woody and damp.
It's woody and damp, and it is
Dusty.
still clammy, and you are starting to feel that breeze that you felt before. It is blowing across DCI Beans' tail, and it's blowing across the hair that you have that is not in your hat.
I'm just shaking a lot, like animals do when they're a little wet, and like shivering, trying to get all the. Yeah.
Excuse me, Beans. Do you like? Can I ask you a hopefully what I hope is not an offensive question? Do you have like increased animal senses now?
No. I'm trying to get in touch with that, but I already had sort of acute senses for a human because I'm a trained unnaturalist, so it sort of evens out. It sort of people might think a skunk would act. Other than I have not got too into the whole spraying with the the liquid from but everything else pretty much on board with sort of a skunk, sort of a detective. It turns out skunks and detectives sort of the same thing.
Well, there you go. That's easy.
Yeah, the more you know. Yes.
I like them as equally.
You like skunks and investigators equally well.
Yeah.
I think I like skunks more than I like investigators. They're cute.
It's a really interesting cross comparison.
Are you all with us?
No. They are now at least 25 feet behind you and above.
I started following behind.
Yeah, I'm going to continue crunching in the leaves as we go.
You're going to continue crushing the leaves. Are you following in the same direction as DCI Beans and Bessemer? I think that if so, her suit with your skeletal frame, you're going to have a pretty easy time getting through. Yeah. But Faisal, with your stomping and your grand armor, you are going to have to roll a move check.
Great.
I think the order is Bessemer, Beans, Faisal, then me, and the actor.
Got it.
Well, so this is my move die. It's a D4.
This is going to be great, you guys.
So I fail.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll roll. It's a 1.
It's a 1. So yeah, you are stomping forward, having a grand old time, kicking the leaves out of the way as you're getting into this denser and denser, to be honest, sort of forest of wood beams, and you find yourself like in your suit of armor is starting to wedge in them, and it's starting to crunch them. And your legs are getting it's getting a little harder to move, and you're starting to hear the splintering of wood around you as you continue to try and like move forward.
The basement's too small.
This place is freaking huge.
I'm stuck.
Oh dear. Oh my.
I would like to help.
Great.
Wait, did I unmute myself when I say? I was trying not when I take notes not to, because I know my keyboard was showing up on. Is my keyboard still showing up on the?
Yeah. If you type a bunch, it's gonna come.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yes, I would like.
Brother, grabbies. Grabbies, brother.
Fucking A. What do you need me to do?
Grabbies.
No, I meant
Grabbies, brother.
Ethan.
Oh, do what thou wilt.
Would it be a comm check? Would it be a movement check?
This would be a movement check, unless you are deciding to fight the beams. I think that would, which is perfectly legitimate in this animistic world.
No, I don't want to anger the current. All right, yeah, I'll just roll. All right, roll. I got a D12 for movement anyway. 11.
Fantastic. Yeah,
We've done this so many times before.
This is a common occurrence between you siblings. Yeah. So you're able to sort of like wedge one Ulna in between his armor and the beam and cantilever it at just the right angle.
Yeah, I used one of I already forgot his name. I wrote it down too. One of Barracks's tibias, or no, he doesn't have any tibias. One of his like shoulder blades.
He doesn't have any tibias?
Well, they're probably around somewhere, but you certainly didn't see
we couldn't find, like, the tibia is only on the it's on the bottom, right?
Yeah, it's on the lower legumobob.
Yeah.
But his lower legumobob seem to be.
We only have the top half of Barracks.
Yeah. So he's wedging his ulna or his radius in there, past the shoulder, or like wedging a scapula in there, and there's the crunch of wood, but in a different kind of crunch. As Fasola's, am I pronouncing it right? I keep getting it wrong. I think
it's Fasole.
Fasole. As Fasole,
You better get it right.
I'm just gonna reveal it right now. It's a kind of bean.
Yeah. We've got beans, and we've got beans, and then we've got
and
beans.
her suit is also a type of bean.
Yeah.
I think we're actually all brothers. Is the point of the show? Everyone
thinks
I would never be related to a decent.
Next time on the House of Beans. Yeah.
So where are we now?
So you are now again, if it was divided into quadrants, you before were descending down right next to the House of Breeze. You are now deep within the beams, underneath from this the sort of clammy, breezy, woodsy sort of area underneath here. You are probably now underneath the House of Breeze, the Autumn House.
Excellent.
There's piles of dead leaves. There's a breeze. There's dense, wistful-looking wood in incredibly dense areas. And you see whoever is farthest along in the darkness past you, a little bit up what seems to be a rather neat-looking staircase, despite all of this unhewn wood, an orange door, tastefully lit by a small orange light.
Ooh, is it an electric light or a fire light?
It is neither of them. It is a
gaslight.
It is a fire. It's no light at all. I never said there was a door. It is a firelight, but the fire is orange. It is charming. It's cozy. It is not within any bulb, nor is it attached to any sort of wick. It is simply floating above the orange door itself.
I love it. It is very suspicious, and I want it.
A will-o-wisp.
Yes. I go to it. I say, DCI Beans, come here. Look at
I'm
this
scampering
very,
behind.
very enticingly lit door.
Yes,
we
no, I
like-
have the
we
urge
want
to
it.
piss on it, which I also had as an inspector. It has nothing to do with being a scout.
It's just,
Yeah.
I assumed as much based on what you said earlier.
it's just being a
That's
member
right.
of the constabulary.
All right. So, does this what do I perceive as far as the fishiness of this situation?
Well, I don't think you need to roll to with between all of your powers of observation, even in this dim and murky light. There wasn't a glowing light there before, you didn't see one through the the beams of this structure. The door might have been there, it might have not, but there definitely wasn't this light. So on a suspicion level, I'm gonna give it a maybe.
Yeah,
No, it's incredibly suspicious.
Yeah, I'm super fucking suspicious, and
Yeah.
and I want to know what's behind the door. DCI Beans, do you want to go behind that door with me?
Yeah, no, of course. I would already be behind the door, but the efficiencies of opposable thumbs belong in this instance to you, Medier. So could you please do the honors?
1,000%. It could just reminding we don't know what's. I know you're an inspector. I know you know this, but we don't know what's on the other side of the door. So you just be ready.
Ethan, is it worth? Could I roll? Could I roll will to try to suss something out? I only have a D6 in will anyway, so
Sure thing.
I gotta do the online dice roller. Sorry, 1 second.
It's probably a room.
Elsewhere in the room, I got a 3. So yeah, smells like a room.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, thank goodness for that. I was worried it would be a not room. Although, to be fair, as someone who has been cleft and swayed and ripped apart and dropped down into a chasm, a room would be a welcome change of pace.
Is there a knob?
There is a knob. It is a handsome brass knob.
As I approach it, do I perceive any radical temperature shifts as my hand gets close to the knob?
Go ahead.
Like this
I'm very
thermite behind
afraid of being burned.
It's
thermite on the friggin' other side.
Yeah, this is it. Dragon Game's second edition. You're not gonna you're all burned to death. Game's over.
I just Indiana Jones. The guy has thing on
good,
his hand. It's crazy.
Worth checking. Very, very good to
A
check.
giant ball comes down from the ceiling.
No, you don't feel any temperature changes. If you're trying to perceive something, the doorknob feels a little wistful. But beyond that, it's just pretty standard.
I feel wistful. This works.
Oh, yeah. Just
I think
I'm
your
gonna
suit
open
is
the door
gonna.
if you're not.
Yeah.
Open. Yeah.
I think your suit is gonna walk up. We can't do this.
I've already got
open
my
the door.
hand on the door. It's
true.
twisted, and I'm pulling it open.
Great.
And as I'm pulling it open, I do a look up here.
Wait, does it open?
Just so everybody knows, the Sometimes Kingdom has a full complement of technical spells capable of dismantling a door, blowing a door off of his hinges, evaporating a door. The Sometimes Kingdom, the door is not your worst enemy.
The door is always open.
Yeah. So you open this door that makes you feel wistful, and it is incredibly dark. It is unbelievably dark. It is in fact completely black.
I ask that we flame if it wants to come with.
Let's find out. Well, that's interesting. It does.
Nice.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah. So the flame does want to come with you. The apparatus, such as it is, follows past you into the chamber ahead. Wood creaks underneath your feet as you are in this room, and the flame rises up to the ceiling, and it starts spreading out, and it spreads larger and larger, and it suddenly lights a candelabra. The candelabra, which is hanging from a handsome brass chandelier, now lights up the entire room. You are in one of the antechambers inside the house of in the House of Breeze, the autumnal haunted house. You've sort of entered via a different path that the audience does. So, whatever narrative the haunted house itself had as an experiential entertainment has been lost. But it looks positively spooky, gorgeous, and autumnal inside. Girding the green wallpapered walls are, orange blazing leaves of autumn, curling and uncurling themselves as a wind blows through the antechamber. Yes, her suit.
So we what's the word? Is it ontologically? No, it's not the word. We moved
By the nature of existence.
Yeah.
we moved down, right?
Yeah.
We physically moved in a downward motion.
Yeah.
But we have found ourselves in the House of Breeze.
Yeah. Which is an interesting question because they weren't supposed to have basements. So
Right.
that's a question.
I'm going to turn to. Can I turn to Barracks?
Mm-hmm.
What do you know this part of the House of Breeze?
Oh yes, this is the part where all of the the paintings start getting into an argument with you, but I don't.
But so is this on the ground floor or?
No, it's not.
What floor is it?
It's supposed to be on the second. All the houses are 2 or 3 stories tall. It's supposed to be.
So we're on the
second
second floor.
Yes, but I don't see any windows. And there's supposed to be windows.
There are supposed to be windows.
Oh,
Well,
so
the-
the place has changed since you were last here.
Yeah,
the
well,
animals in
yes,
the
it's-
place and
It
isn't
seems
stuff.
to have. Yes, this certainly wasn't in the basement because, as I have said, there wasn't a basement.
Brother,
May not
I
be a
just
basement.
am believing you
Brother.
less and less every time you say there isn't a basement.
you have your hammer?
not being in it.
Oh, I have my hammer.
Okay, can you make a window, please?
Yeah. So I do, in fact, I have a hammer and an anvil.
Excellent.
Which I use to smash weapons usually when I find them.
Mhm.
But as a tool, I am happy to use my hammer to sort of like try to fashion a window out of one of
hole.
the panels.
Yeah, that's the sort of.
I think I'm looking for a board that I can just knock out.
Yeah, so you're tapping around. You're a stud finder, basically. You're looking for something you can smash.
This is a tool, not a weapon.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know,
really?
that's-
Stud finder got you?
Yeah. The demon
Demons can't
hierarchy.
use weapons in this game. I am not
Well,
allowed to use weapons.
It's not. You're not allowed mechanically. It is so against the demon code of ethics that it's
Yeah.
simply it is impossible to even conceive of. The hierarchy
And I
of
think
demonhood
for
is all about
Fasole,
rules.
The
It is
act
impossible.
of like punching a hole in a wall with a hammer is still
Yeah.
that's weaponry. I am simply using it as a tool to knock a board loose, get the nails
Mhm.
out of it.
Vigorously, yeah. Are you painstakingly making sure to show to the world that you are in fact making a hole, like
With
Perhaps even
love of the
declaring
craft of
Yeah.
carpentry. Yes.
Of course. Well, you are going to notice as you're opening it up 2 things. As you get past the beautiful prop wallpaper, the craftsmanship on this place is positively gorgeous. It's really for a haunted house, it sure is astonishingly well put together. The Scenic Union really pulled out all the stops on this thing. The other thing that you'll notice as you open up the walls and see the studs or whatever you're cracking through, is that there is another room behind it that seems to be not resolving itself.
Brother, you were right to make a window because behind the window is a confusing room.
That is not what I wanted, but to happen, you did do what I wanted, but
It's
that's
what you've
unfortunate.
gotten.
Yeah, I will go look at the room attempting to resolve itself.
So do you walk through the hole?
I want to look at it.
Okay. So yeah, when you look inside it, there's nothing that's hard to perceive in terms of perception. It is literally a room trying to resolve itself. It can't really decide what room it is, and it seems to be shifting between a bunch
I'm
of
going to
different-
yell at it. Hey, be an entrance to the outside.
Okay, so there's a sort of shuddering and there's a rumbling. There's a shaking and a quaking and like a rattling sound and a big clatter of metal. And a steel door sort of forms itself right at the hole that you have so carefully tooled into the wall.
All right. Wait, a seal door or a steel door?
A steel door.
We got steel in this world? Wow. All right.
No, there is not. That's a really good question.
So I actually don't understand what this door is, but I do recognize it as a door.
Yeah, I mean, I should say that there is steel, but it's more of a curio or something that's used for fine collectors of earthen techniques.
When you say steel door, I imagine like a submarine like hatch door, but
we're gonna go with that because that's way cooler than what I was thinking of.
I'm also imagining it's kind of small because what I'm imagining is I've taken off a 1x8 board.
So you've so all right, so it's sort of this Miyazaki, like, you know, the boards have clattered themselves away with that, like it has sort of made a little bit of extra room, carefully rearranged itself for what is definitely like a steel door shaped like, you know, the porthole of a submarine, with, you know, the bolts along the side, the ceiling on the sides.
Fasole pats the wall with love and says, "You are a fine building."
I'm gonna try to open it though.
Okay. Yeah, so it is the door itself has a turning wheel like you would see. I've never actually been on this type of boat or submarine, but media tells me that there is this kind of turning thing that opens and closes the seal of the hatch.
This is going to be to the ocean.
Oh no, the ocean!
I don't think we should open this door. This is going to be.
Well,
to the
how
ocean.
do you know it's to the ocean if you've never been in a submarine?
It also could be to a lake, but the effect, I'm assuming, is going to be similar. I think we're going to be underwater.
Well, that's not my problem, actually. I don't breathe.
They're an airlock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you
you
should
open the
open
door.
it, Jeff. But
Yeah, you should.
DCI Beans definitely is yelling, "A lacustrine submersible! A lacustrine submersible!" Going into the pool and just like pissing a little bit.
Yeah, so you open the portal, and a lot of water comes out of it, just sort of gushing, less than you'd think. It is not the ocean, but it is not salt water, but water is definitely pouring into the space at a great rate. Her suit as a skeleton, it is sort of seamlessly, you are not bowled away by it because it is just simply going through your rib cage and the space between your arm bones, but it is flooding the space behind you.
And it's not stopping.
It's not stopping.
Can I yell above ground, please?
Are you yelling up? It doesn't seem to be listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't breathe,
okay,
and this is
fine.
all your problem.
I am going to use shoulder squat.
Okay.
I'm in fact going to squat. I'm going to gently place my hand upon the wall and use the power shoulder squat, which is once per game session. I can burn 4 grit and rationally convince one person to perform one action as long as it doesn't directly harm them.
So you are admonishing the wall to.
I say to the wall, please listen to my brother.
Yeah. So it. So wait. Her suit. What did you say to it?
To the outside above ground, please.
Yeah. Okay. So you hear a sort of like warbling sound, like a. I
should have said at sea level or some bullshit like that.
I don't. It's already monkey's pawed you once. I feel like it's not gonna.
And then we're blown into space.
Yeah. No. So
yeah, literally.
Coming soon. The tie into Stillfleet, guys. Directly and literally.
Right.
Yeah, so the water is at this point gushing point, and it's sort of warbling. I'd like everybody who isn't hirsute to make one movement check. The door is the door itself froths up like water does, like bubbles in water, as the steel sort of like turns into steel bubbles into the wall and disappears. It's really trying to do what you're saying. it's trying to figure this one out. But very quickly, all the rest of the water that it was going to hurl at everybody sort of like, flings into the space very quickly. 2, 1. Yeah, 1. All of you are simultaneously washed and sort of thrown into the back of the room. The door is starting to resolve itself into another orange door. This one statelier and larger than the perfunctory backstage one you saw before. But the 3 of you are washed out of the room into another room behind you.
Damn. What's the room we're in now like?
You tell him, brother.
So the room that you're in now is a familiar room to you all. It is the antechamber which you first saw when you came into the House of Breeze when you were conducting your interviews in part 1. There is a very large, stately spiral staircase with a beautiful banister leading up to a small second-level landing. But where you are, the water is sort of washing onto the floor of the dark stained wood of the floorboards, and you find yourself in this room. Unlike before, there does not seem to be a door to the outside. The water gushes and it gushes, and eventually it stops. With the 2 of you, or the 3 of you, sopping wet, just really, really sodden. The water is now about a foot deep, I'd say, which you find yourself sloshing in. For
Should've
everyone
brought
except
dry
Christy.
socks.
Are you wearing metal greaves? Or are you wearing? Yeah, you're in full armor, right?
Full
Oh,
body armor.
that's gonna suck.
Ethan, can we leave the room in any way? Like we were washed in.
Yeah, you were washed in.
There's a staircase.
Yeah, there's a staircase up to the
Oh, there's
landing.
a
You can
staircase,
also,
right.
yeah, but you can also, it hasn't sealed the door behind you. You could try and sort of walk back through the way that you were washed in if you wanted.
So it seems like we can go up or keep exploring toward the scary magical door.
It's true, the scary door.
I like the scary magical door, I will say.
Yeah, it was
Well,
really giving us a lot narratively there.
Yeah, if there's one thing that I've learned from watching horror is that splitting up is fantastic and it always works out great. So
Every time.
Every time.
So the orange door, right?
Yeah.
I open the orange door. Where does it go?
The orange door, as you open it up, it is a creaking sound, like an ostentatious creaking sound. Like it is like a haunted house sound effect. Like it goes
like a Foley library version of a creaking sound.
And you see sort of really, hastily, shoddily carved into dirt is a staircase that leads upwards.
Oh, just a different staircase that goes upwards.
A staircase that goes upwards. There is light coming from the top of the staircase.
You want to climb out yourself, and then I go get everyone else, or I'm gonna turn to Barrack, kind of.
Yes. I think all hands on deck, as they say. I feel like it's a fantastic idea.
Okay, so I'm gonna put him down.
Okay.
Well, climb out.
Yeah. So he's now splashed into the water.
Well, he said that was a fine idea. That's why I put him.
He's sitting there. He's up to his pelvis in water, just sort of like be stalwart in your efforts. Then he turns to the guys like and you there and there. I will stand vigilant watch here.
Oh no, I meant you climb up and then I go back for them. Or do you want to go with me? Actually, I guess I should have asked that.
I think I will go and I will climb up. I will feel useful doing such a thing. He takes one arm and he starts vigorously, moving his way up the staircase, and he starts shouting up, past the dirt, like, is anybody up there? Hello, is Arson, are you there? Mandabelle, are you? Hello. His voice gets quieter and quieter as he makes his way up this dirt staircase towards a light.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna go get my brother now. I'm gonna turn around and I guess swim back. I don't know, or I'll just walk.
sort of walk, or do you share your brother's passion for splashing, or
As long as no one's watching me, I go.
skipping in the rain. Yeah. So you find yourself with them now in this other room with the spiral staircase going up towards the landing, and
I think we were headed towards the magical door, back towards the magical door, right?
Yeah. You were headed towards the
we're all headed back toward the magical door. Nobody wants to run up the stairs, scamper.
Would you like to scamper?
I kind of want to scamper.
I think you should check.
I think I would at least scamper. I think what I'm going to do is scamper, because my cat does this a lot. Is I would scamper all the way up and then come all the way back down in a nonchalant. Like I totally meant to run at full speed into the unknown and then get freaked out and run back. And that wasn't a mistake at all. But I'd like to still use my detective.
Perception. I've done this several times as a grown man.
That's true. Yeah, that is also just kind of how I explore.
You run toward the ice cream truck and then you walk back.
Yeah. Like nope, that wasn't. I was never gonna get the Spider-Man ice cream thing. They have a it's like very involved. So I'd like to just see what's up there.
Okay, great. So you run up the spiral staircase. The stairs are very slick. It's dark, but you as a skunk scampering in the way that you are, you have no problems with it. You get to the top of the landing, and you look around. You do in fact see that there are these very large paintings hanging on the walls, and there's clear little vestibules for ghosts to park themselves, but there are no ghosts to be had, as the workers at this point are 5 seconds away from going on strike. And inside this haunted house, however, which is now currently, the house itself is haunting or haunted, but the ghosts who were hired to haunt it professionally do not seem to be there. But in the distance, down the landing, you hear a little voice going, "Hey, is anybody there? Hello? Hello?"
I run back down and yell at the group. There's a little voice who needs help. We might have found a survivor of the haunting of the haunters.
Does the voice have a body?
I run back up. I don't know, going back to investigate. So I just do a full loop.
You do a full like the zoomies back down and back up again. Yeah, the zoomies. So past the landing, past all of these like very large, like very well done, but clearly also prop paintings. There is a corridor which makes its way down in dark wood, past a whole bunch of doors, each one painted to look strange and mysterious in various different styles. And that door leads to what looks to be a bright portaled window with an eerie blue light coming from it. And down the hallway, you hear this voice again. "Hello, is anybody there? Hello? Am I on shift now? What's happening?"
Maybe you have to tell me if you're a dangerous ghost. It's the rules around these parts. I'm on an official quest.
Okay.
Are you a dangerous ghost?
I'm not a dangerous ghost.
But there was a pause. You hesitated. Why did you hesitate?
Professional.
Are you a dangerous? Sorry, I ran it behind. I'm like, are you a dangerous something else?
Yeah. Are you? And what?
Are you a dangerous something else?
It's a good question.
I'm a fearsome Foley artist.
Huh.
Excellent.
I feel like we should do like meanwhile her suit is still
meanwhile.
Sorry, I didn't mean to pause, Jeff.
That's
I was
all good.
Just making sure we were going to explore both at some point. Okay.
No, I let him walk up. I went back to get the rest of y'all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the magical door is open. There is a dirt staircase leading up. Barracks has sort of like energetically crawled his way up it to try and see what's there.
I guess I should open the door for him.
Well, he's gonna have an interesting time doing his best opening that at the top of the stairs.
Yeah, it's not my problem.
Yeah. So the magic door awaits. Should you decide, there is also this voice at the far end of the hallway who has just identified itself as a terrifying Foley artist.
Should we all approach dangerously with weapons drawn, but also maybe we're going to help someone? I don't know. What danger are you in, Foley person?
I'm very lost, and I don't know what time it is. Am I on shift? What's going on?
I think there's a strike happening. Do you
Oh
work
shit!
here?
They actually did that.
Well, they're going to.
We don't know about the outcome of a strike authorization vote. We are here independent of that conflict.
Yeah,
to
that was
find-
more of the narrator's like voice, like a meanwhile. We don't actually know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, yeah. Narrative, diegetically, they were threatening it for sure.
Fasole also sort of like comes up the stairs and is like at the top of it, holding his boot like upside down as like a lot of water is pouring out of
A
it.
lot of water, some minnows,
Excellent, Scooby-Doo
some
style.
very fake-looking plastic seaweed, or
Yeah.
not plastic, I guess like Bakelite or like glassine seaweed is coming out of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
goldfish or something.
yeah, like a goldfish, like a little koi, just like something, or like a minnow. What is the cheapest? What is the cheapest fish you could get to
Like
to
a
be
magic
real
fish is like, I'll give you a wish.
I have no wishes. I should have given the wish to myself.
A wishing fish.
Yeah. He did not wish his wish.
And
Yeah.
and Fasole says, to be honest, you probably are on shift, but we have to get to the ground first.
Oh well. Well, I don't want to be a scab, so if they're doing something, can you come get me out of here? I've been walking around for I don't even know how long. What day is it?
Today.
Today? Oh God, today? That's 2 days before the 2 days
Every
ago.
day is exactly the same.
Yeah, you get it.
So really, it does not matter.
It's Groundhog Day.
Can we find this person physically in space and free them from whatever torture of not knowing if they are on shift or not that they are currently within? Like, do we know where they are for real?
Oh, they're down the hallway. Or they sound
Okay.
like they're down the hallway.
Well,
Well,
I'm
they are
scampering.
fully artists, so they
Yes,
can make it seem like they're anywhere.
That's
right.
true.
Yeah.
Sneaky
like we're-
Foley artists.
We're fighting the police academy guy, but
Maybe a cool boss.
Woo. Okay. It's like again. What is a police?
the gendarmerie. Yes, it does not matter. I'm coming to you, but don't do anything stupid. I am armed. with little
Okay.
tiny sharp teeth.
And I'm
That
Also a
sounds-
gun.
That sounds dangerous, but okay. Please don't hurt me.
I joined DCI Beans. I'm there as backup.
Okay. So yeah, you are you're stomping your way down the hallway. And then there's an eerie pause, and then from one of the doors next to you, you hear like,
Oh wait, should I just keep making noise so you know where I am in this hallway?
I think I know where you are. Just don't do anything dangerous, or I might shoot you.
That sounds please don't.
and you hear like a scampering sound.
Are you alone?
He's
Does it
now
sound like
coming
a
from a
fox?
different. What?
Does it sound like a fox scampering?
It
Wasn't there a
is.
fox
It
you're
is.
looking for?
Well, I think.
What did the fox
Have you?
say?
That's an interesting question. As a skunk, have you now spent more time with other talking animals? Would you would instantly know the sound of a?
Could I roll reason? I mean, is that a
Sure.
reasonable
One-
or something
so-
else? I'm
That
gonna
is
roll
a reasonable question to ask.
I was had A+ marks. I got a 3 out of 4.
Yeah. Well, it is certainly an animal. As to what kind of animal, not. But
Well, I'm running after it.
yeah.
It's
so
fine.
It is,
I won't shoot you unless I'm alarmed. That's how skunks work.
Oh
It's not a
God!
metaphor about police.
Oh,
it's
you're a
just
skunk. Okay, this is all right.
you hear like a scampering sound, and then the door that you did not think was the door that the voice was coming from sort of creaks open. It's a faded red door with very ostentatious fake looking do not enter warning, do not trust this door, danger,
Mhm.
hazardous. The door opens up and a little paw coming up, and you see a there's in fact a little fox is standing there with a little backpack. He's got a pot and pan, and he's got a little he's talking into a cup.
Oh,
Oh my God! Thank goodness. Oh,
He takes the cup away.
sorry. Okay, I really had to be. I didn't know if I was on shift or not, so I was talking into the cup. Hi. Thank you. I'm guessing something happened because I haven't seen anybody in now I'm seeing you guys, and I don't think you guys work for the haunted house unless they fired everybody and hired a bunch of scabs. In which case, I'm not a scab and I'm walking out right now. But if you aren't scabs, then I'm happy to see you.
I'm gonna pick
Ethan.
them up by the or where are they? The
The scruff.
The
The scruff, yeah, like
yeah, but like from the front.
Oh, like a he's sort of
Yeah.
like
All right,
Just-
listen here.
ah!
Actually, that was unnecessary. I'm gonna put them
He's
out.
like scrambling. He's like, no, did the boss get you? I'm not this. Tell
There's-
Austin, I'll put it in my time card.
you disappeared, and people feel like it's haunted and they're scared, so we got hired.
Well,
But the house is evil.
which house?
The house underneath the house is evil.
It's called a basement. You may have heard of it. There is some debate in architectural circles if it is indeed part of a house or a different thing altogether.
I don't have a
basement
gun.
is
out
I
this
don't know what a
old
gun
debate
is,
in
but I would
health
shoot you.
circles.
A basement is part of a house. That's entirely mental. Why would the basement? It doesn't matter. What? That's basic.
Regardless,
I
here we go.
take exception to that as a given.
Oh, great,
Can I
okay.
just lay? I know he's just been grabbed, but can I just like put my hands out in
They're
kind
just
of an
like-
inviting way? I'm hoping that he'll just like nuzzle because he's very anxious, and I just want
Yeah.
to like nice. Like,
Would
if
you do this to a
sit here,
person?
I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just
She's
I
like,
in
she's
fact, I would
bodyguard,
do it.
bro.
I would do it today, and I will do it right now. And I lay hands.
Yeah. So she, so Bessemer is laying hands on the fox, who at first like, oh my god, the fox can actually raise his hackles. I can say that literally. That's fantastic. The fox raises his hackles, and then quickly sort of like lowers them, and sort of like you can feel he's trembling a little bit. He's like, I've just been really nervous in here for a little while. It's been really scary. I'm trying to do a good job. I'm trying really hard. I'm trying so hard to do it, but I don't know. All the rooms keep changing, and I don't know what time it is. And you say it's today, and today is 2 days after what today's supposed to be. So I think I've been in here for a while.
Yeah, that's a lot. I'm sorry.
I'm not. I really want to stress that.
So the fox is now scrambling out of her suit's arms into Bessemer's, who's clearly going to give him scritches and mental comfort of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know, have you seen anything suspicious, more than usual, perhaps
More than-
involving architecture,
Well,
perhaps involving a basement?
Well, this basement is news to me, but I have to say I've been wandering around. The house keeps rearranging itself. I keep going from one room, and then I'm in another room, and then another room. And frankly, not to give away sort of, not to ruin your theatrical experience in this haunted house if you haven't got through it. It's really excellent. But there's really only supposed to be 8 rooms that you see, and then you're out the door and you buy funnel cake. So I don't know how
We already bought funnel cake. It was very good.
Oh, you see, you've done the whole experience out of order. That's the funnel cake is right by the exit. Anyway, wow. Yeah, no, I think I started counting and then I got bored and I stopped counting and then I got bored of not counting. So then I started counting again. By my count, there's been sort of 80 rooms at this point. So I don't know what's going on.
Are they all completely individual? Do they repeat sometimes?
That's an interesting question. They do repeat themselves. It's like they start going and then like they thinks I'm not going to notice. I don't know if it's just out of ideas or what, but it starts really, I don't know how many there are, but it's definitely giving me the runaround. Hi,
How many ideas would you say there are?
I'm Ixpagine, by the way. Hi, nice to meet you all. Hi, hey, I'm the Foley
Ixpagine.
artist. Yes, I'm the terrifying Foley artist of the House of Breeze. I'm supposed to somehow make autumn spooky. It's hard, and I'm pretty good at it though. So
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think autumn is particularly spooky at all.
well,
I don't
there's
think
also-
that's really something that we're talking about right now, especially because we don't need to make him feel threatened about his line of work. And rather, perhaps we should say thank you for everything you've told us, and or Would
Wow,
you
I feel
like to
personally
join us?
attacked. Actually,
Sorry, I didn't. So sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I just meant like maybe we could be nice though. I suppose I
I
can.
am
That
nice.
would be aggressive.
Did I stab him?
That is one
her.
way to look at it. Yeah. What are your pronouns, wee fox?
Oh, I'm a fox. We sort of go by whatever, but I guess I'm a boy fox. I'm pretty sure. You know, as foxes go, I feel pretty
Great.
confident in that. Okay.
Nice.
Well, yeah. So, can we leave now immediately? I'm
Wait,
very
were you
hungry.
never a human?
What?
You were
What are you
never a
talking-
human.
No, I was never a human. I'm part of a. I'm
That
part
would
of
be
a,
silly.
Well, but
I'm-
our friend was a human.
Well,
Well, I mean, we're
it takes
colleagues
more-
more than friends. We just met earlier today.
Yeah, brother. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I can't.
Brutal.
You cannot say we're friends. Yeah, I would
All right,
not.
my
call.
co-worker is a human.
Yeah.
we're
Well,
working on it. We could be friends. Maybe we hang out, drink a little Pernod, although it probably makes my current form quite sick. Well, anyway, Ixogene, it's fine if you are not a human. You do not have
it
to
takes
be a
all,
human.
it takes
to
all
be a-
kinds, you know. I mean, wow.
The thing, though, is we really need to find out what is going on here, and it seems like you
Yeah.
have very little information about this as well. You've
Well,
just been wandering around, sort of making
I'll-
weird sounds.
I'll tell you what. I've been wandering around this upper floor. I haven't gone to the third floor because it's terrifying and I don't want to. So I've been sort of wandering around here a lot. So we should just go out the way that we came and leave.
What's terrifying about it?
Well, sort of as the hair on his back starts bristling, he's like, well, feel like I'm sort of outgunned as a Foley artist when I go in there. I feel
Why don't you
What
just
do you mean?
make more gun
Wind.
sounds?
It's an interesting idea. What does a gun sound like?
Beans.
I'm not going to shoot the gun right now. It sounds like
No, just
Gordon
describe the
Thunder.
sound. Of course, we're going to shoot the gun.
It's a bad sound. I described the sound. In
Yeah,
this- I
yeah.
described the sound in
The third floor has a lot of bad sounds. Just a lot of bad sounds, and bad feelings.
So it is very
Toilet.
likely, using a process of deduction, the third floor is full of police who have been turned into animals and are holding a derringer in their mouth and firing wildly, or something else.
How do you pull the trigger with? Are you pulling with your tongue, or
No,
You
it's
just
got a
never
little-
give up, my friend. Never give up.
how do you? How are you-
It's a derringer. It's
How
he's
you
got a claw.
Yeah, I think at this point I'm very
Effortlessly. That's how.
perilously close to firing the gun just to show.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
Should we,
So
it sounds like the third floor, though, is a place where we questers should go. Yes, what do you all
Yes,
think?
barracks was headed up.
okay.
Oh, he's screwed.
There was a light at the end, so it looked like a pretty good place to go.
Oh, if there's a light, then
Yeah. Put that on the shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the new.
Don't stop
Tagline.
not believing. Yeah. In shooting people.
Don't stop.
Little
Gun
teensy skunk.
violence.
I just want to. Yeah, I want to go to the third floor.
You wanna go to the third floor?
I do.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Wee Fox. I
Oh, dear.
don't want to bring you there, so I'm
Well-
going to put you down.
Okay. That's
I do
well,
want to
don't-
bring you there, actually.
Oh, I don't want to.
Well, I don't want you to get lost again.
I don't want
To
you
be
to
fair.
go there. I don't want you to have to go.
But
Um.
the fox mentioned that the building molds around them, so like was molding around, so it might mold
How
us
would you-
away
How
from.
can we get to the third floor?
Oh, well, that's really easy. And he turns around back to the door that you sort of found him in this little spookily designed, like little guest bedroom sort of thing. There's rustic creepy dolls. There's floral wallpaper that's really faded. One of the floorboards is designed to sort of like a hand is clearly designed to like come out of it. When an actor's sitting there. It's like, yeah, it's sort of, so he opens the door that says like, do not trust, like, don't open, oh yeah, see, but that closet is actually is a staircase that leads upwards.
Was it always?
I don't know how to answer that question. I mean, this house was built about 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so always within 2 weeks. This seems.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
when you first
it's
started
always
working here.
within the framework. Yeah, it's always been like this.
Right. It hasn't changed like the rest of the building.
No. It's the
Because
one.
you mentioned the
it's-
building morphing. That's what I mean.
Yeah, it's less morphing and more. I'm in a room and then I walk to another room and that room is a different room and then I walk to from that. Yeah, morphing. It's morphing.
That's the
Yeah.
experience of walking from a room to a room.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I never
I
actually
have
thought about
never
it that way.
experienced it any other way.
Yeah. Yeah, me neither.
Never really
Me
thought
neither.
about that. Yeah. Makes you think about stuff, doesn't it? Anyway.
No, it doesn't
Yes.
actually.
Yeah, so he points to this. He's like, yeah, so but through that door is a staircase. The staircase leads up to the third floor, and the third floor is bad feelings and bad sounds. And but I guess if I go with you guys, that would be okay.
Yeah, we can keep making Ethan do the voice.
Okay, I'll keep making the voice. Then his
Nice.
ears sort of like flattened down again. It's like, I'll be brave. I'll go up. It's okay.
That's the real reason why I wanted the fox to come, so we can keep making.
This is
Ethan
why
do the voice.
foxes cannot become skeletons. You need the ears.
Yeah, well, you know, you can always just tack them on with. It's like as you're approaching the staircase, he's explaining like, I did meet a skeleton fox once, and it had small canvas ears that it sort of attached on, but like a bolt system. It was made out of brass. It actually looked pretty good, but then it's sort of like it's a little bit like clockwork, and then you sort of ask questions like, what's the difference between an automaton and a skeleton, and like what's living and what's dead? It's like, so you're like walking up, and it's the same kind of like black spiral staircase from the antechamber. You know, it's got the banisters and it's very slick and dark wood as you're going up, and it's at this point, like, you know, I don't want to tell you what your characters are feeling, but it is becoming dark in the exact same way that it has in several of the other rooms that you've approached before.
I would like to so I was thinking about doing this earlier and didn't, but I want to do it now. I want to do my brain candle ritual, but on the house, because I'm just starting to get the sense more and more that it is quote unquote living enough that I might get something from it.
I think it absolutely qualifies to run that ritual in this situation now that you've gathered a little bit more information.
Okay, yeah. So as we get closer to the third floor, are we coming up on like a landing, or is there like a door before the hall? Or
the staircase is it's just like it's like a sloping, like a slow spiral, just like the one in the antechamber. It just seems to kind of keep going for a little bit, and then there's another little landing. It feels like it's theatrically lit, like you're walking up the staircase. You don't know if there's walls to the side of you or what have you, but there's like one little light. It's just a candle or kerosene or something, and it is lighting like one little landing, and then the staircase goes up beyond that. The landing isn't he's like, oh, that's not the third floor, that's just the terrifying thing that we didn't build.
the terrifying what that you didn't build?
What? Well, there's lots of little, I mean, we didn't build, like I said, there's like, this place is like supposed to have 8 rooms, and it has a lot more than that, even though it repeats some of them. But this thing here is just a place to stand, and then the staircase keeps going up. And I didn't make it all the way to the top because, like I said, it's really scary and spooky, and I didn't like it.
Okay, cool. So I go. So this lasts for like 20 or so minutes. So if people want to continue or wait, I'm fine with that. And I describe that as I start, like, I tell DCI Beans specifically, I'm like, listen, so I think the house is alive and I want to explore its brain a bit. So I'm going to do that really quick, but I'm going to have to be focusing, and it's going to take...
Hang on.
Yeah?
What are the ethics of this? I know this sounds out of character for me. I'm just wondering.
This is a poltergeist, and we're going.
What do you mean by explore its brain? Are you like asking it questions, or are you going in there?
We'll see.
You're
And
not going in, right? It's like a metaphor, like poking around metaphorically, right? Not like
Yeah, but like, how forceful is it? This is what I want to know.
these are all things that you two would explore if you did
Are
what I did. So that being said,
Wow.
the ethics lie in the nature of my craft. I'm a healer.
Are you asking us
so-
to leave due to Dr. Basement confidentiality?
Yeah,
Or because what you're gonna do
Yeah.
will get you disbarred from whatever agency you're
So,
part of.
well, I
No.
can, yeah.
Okay, Ethan, go ahead.
Oh, I can just like for 10 seconds and then I will let you continue. Like, I don't want to stand in the way of this argument for sure. Alienists are some of the only people who, as a vocation, are licensed to use mind magic, which is otherwise quite banned. They have to go through as a body witch, or as an alienist, quite a lot of training, and ethics and confidentiality are part of it. And as a licensed adventurer, this is one of the few scenarios where it is okay to use it while on adventure trying to solve a problem in which people are in danger.
Yeah, it's legally okay to use, but
the ethics
that's
of
not
it.
the
It is
question,
outside of the certification band. So I leave the larger ethical implications of that to player characters.
There's a
Right.
reason CBT stands for two things.
Yep.
It stands for more.
Wait,
more
I'm
than two
sorry.
things.
What?
CBT stands for more than.
It took
two
me a
things, but we're
second.
not gonna-
Okay, all right.
We're gonna leave
Back
it.
to the stream where we figure out the difficult ethical questions. Like,
Yeah.
can you read the mind of a haunted house?
These are
Hillsuit,
And
why don't we discuss
should
this
one?
while walking in a random direction that happens to be exactly away from Bessemer Never Sing? So anyway, we will discuss it. Let's scamper with me into the dangerous darkness above.
I love that as the beginning to an adventure.
Well, I was gonna go get Barrick again.
Oh yes, no, recover our skeleton friend. Yeah, I keep forgetting Barrick exists because Barrick hasn't really helped out, hasn't pulled Barrick weight. So
He really wasn't, as an actor, he really wasn't pulling his weight,
the fox, on the other hand, we love the fox, right, guys? I'm sorry, I shouldn't rank
not to play favorites, but
people we've saved, but yes,
Yeah.
We need let's let Bessemer do her thing.
Okay,
Suggestion. I don't know.
I'll live.
I'll live. So I like as they're heading off to their various activities, kneel down and I put my hands on the ground of the landing, and I find, so as I lay my hands down, I'm feeling for things that I feel for. And I find my hands traveling toward what are the vertical parts of a banister called?
Oh shoot, I know this word and I cannot
I
think
know
of
you
it.
do.
Yeah, get back, ask me again in 20 minutes.
Great. I
that,
find
yeah.
myself holding onto those, kind of like they're axon terminals in a nerve
Ooh.
capacity, or a structural tendon to something, whatever. And as that's happening, I am going into some a trance of sorts where I won't be completely aware of my surroundings or small things, though if something big happened, I don't think I would be passed out or anything. And
Mhm.
I start to metaphorically, and to what other degree I am not sure, creep through the halls of the mind of this house, looking for a secret behind a door.
Cool. That is, so the process, you've I don't know if you've done this character wise to architecture, sentient or otherwise before. The experience when you first do it, grasping the neuron nature of the balusters, the spindles. That's amazing.
Nice.
That's it. Yeah. Grasping them and feeling this, it's not electrical, but there is definitely a charged, the lacquered wood is a pulse, a whoom.
Mhm.
And you start feeling yourself sort of in that sort of vampire witchy kind of way, imagining yourself up on both toes, and then sort of moving your way consciously through exactly through a hallway, very similar to the hallway that you have just come through door after door, each one, and the doors are clearly like some of them are repeating and some of them are not. But as you're going forward, you're getting sort of like this vibrational quality, and like there is like a loud sound that keeps getting like louder and louder as you move forward, and the doors seem to start getting like it's run out of door ideas, and it is like they're starting to get weird and wobbly. Like, is that a door? Is that a hole? Is it like, a piece of fabric? Is it a piece of flesh? They keep getting like bigger and stranger as the hallway is like arcing towards it and starting to telescope away, and you like hear this sound going like, no. So that's the A plot. Let's go back to see how the B plot of DCI Beans and Fasole is doing.
So, Fasole, what is
Interesting.
your take on eating things straight from a tin can with just dunking your face in? Oh, look, a dark hallway upstairs. What is on the 3rd floor?
My face is too big. The floor is up there.
Oh, good. Yes, well, I'm kind of on it. So, but yes, for you, it is up. This is, again, one of these ontological problems.
I think it's more of a problem of going up the stairs.
So who has X-Benign at this point? Is it Bessemer or is it Fasol and DCI Beans?
Well, do we have? I mean, is that a person who needs to be had, or is that like?
Just which party? Like, did X-Benign stay on the landing, or did you bring him? Because one of you was holding them.
Did we all
prior.
leave Bessemer to do this?
That's right. Okay, work? So X-Benign is with you. It's like, this is really scary up here. It's really dark. You see, like above you is a black sort of like stained the kind of doors that you have with an attic. There's a pull chain, and off of the pull chain is like a little brass acorn. And it's like, oh, I did not get to this part of it. It's usually I would just hear like a lot of like howling and shouting and rumbling and other things. But here we are.
Well, why don't you stay here, and those of us who are sneaky will kind of poke around, maybe without angering the basement house place, and poltergeist
clanks over.
Clank, clonk, clank, clank, clonk. That's really good. I'm gonna find a way to reproduce that with like, cans or something.
They'd have to be very, very thick cans.
Yeah, well, get maybe the kind that hold tomatoes or something. I don't know.
Or pineapples. Now I'm just distracted and hungry. But
I've eaten nothing but floor lint for 2 days. So
actually, I may have a solution to this. Can you make some noise?
Oh, yeah. Any kind. What kind of noise do you want to make?
Well, I would. How dangerous do we think it is? Should I use detective magic, or should I just run forwards?
Well, I tried running forwards and I got terrified really quickly. So if you've got any sort of additional, vocational, outside of, the tremendous powers of a Foley artist, I definitely use that.
Well, okay. Before I resort to magic, I will just throw something. So I get out of the sack that I drag around with me that has my gun in it also has a bunch of other objects. So I'm going to throw my pipe, which I can no longer smoke. So it's just I chew on it. So it's like a meerschaum pipe. But I'm going to get it in my mouth and just try to hurl it. So I'm at the top of the stairs. So if they're at the landing, I sneak up to the top of the stairs with the pipe and try to hurl it into the darkness of the hallway on the 3rd floor to try to, see if any poltergeists like attacks ectoplasmically, etc.
Yeah. So you throw the pipe up, and having pulled the rafter down, and you hear it like through the air. Very excellent throw. And then when it hits, instead of hearing the clacking of a pipe, you hear like the loud chiming of a gong, like a bong.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's interesting. I'm actually really intrigued by that.
So in your
Soleil
professional,
takes his hammer back out and just whacks himself in the chest very lightly. To create a smaller gong.
Yeah, when you whack yourself in the chest, you actually hear the sound of leaves rustling in trees over 100 feet tall, like epic swooping, whooshing sounds.
Hello.
So our sounds have been messed up.
Oh.
Oh, it seems to be. Hold on a second. I'm going to try what I did before. Hey, don't hurt me! I'm not anybody. It's okay. And he starts like just making like loud, Gomer Pyle Fox noises, I guess.
Do I hear that?
Yeah, you hear it, but then it also starts turning into the sounds of really, really large footsteps, like clomp, clomp. Like the less he's talking in speech, the more it's sounding like huge footfalls, stomping on the landing.
Well, now I am unsure how to proceed. Seems like something magical and dangerous is afoot, and Bessemer is still working her important magics downstairs.
Did I find barracks?
Yeah, let's take a look at what her suit is doing down. Having gone back down through the magic door, wading through the water, back up, you see that her suit has made its way past the dirt stairs and is in fact out onto the dying grounds of what looks to be the seasonal pavilion. And you find him sort of like not very many feet past that because he doesn't have fully functioning legs at this point. He's sort of cut off at the femurs, but he's making as good time as he can, calling for people. He's like, it's very strange. Like I don't see the gang around. I thought if there was any sort of action, they'd be here. It's where management would hurt the most if they were gathering, but it seems it's quite empty.
We found Wait, is it X-Genius? No, that's not it. The foxes.
Exponine.
Exponine. There you go.
Yeah. This is tremendous. That's amazing, wonderful, and fabulous. Oh, what a relief. Oh my goodness. The gang.
And you found a way outside. Congrats.
Oh yes, here we are. It's great. It's just strange how there's nobody around here, but I'm sure if you pick me up, we could go take a look.
Well, now that you found a way outside, I was gonna go back and get X-Genius.
Oh, I see. Yes, that's bring the non-adventurer back out. That's an excellent idea. I will continue my full-throated search out here for people in this mist and on this dying ground. Hello.
Do I put you in a chair?
I'm going to continue crawling around until I find another soul or another non-soul who is sapient. So no need for the chair. I appreciate it, but this old bean is quite capable of making his way around.
Already walking off.
Yeah. Okay. Well, stalwart heart. Just look.
He said it was okay. He said it was okay, right?
Yeah. It was. He was. Calling various.
Slide down the banister if there is one.
There is no banister because this was hastily cut into dirt, but you can definitely sort of like slick your way down because the ground that it was cut through by this house is quite wet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you make your way back through the magic door that you called, or that Fasole called for, through the soaking water with very confused and somewhat dying minnows. Back through. And do you want to walk back up to where Expedine and the rest of them are on the landing?
Yeah, I want to go get Expedine.
Okay. So at this point, it's been a few minutes, and Bessemer, you are now, you have entered deeper into the house's mental scape, and you have definitely received some sort of like pushback. Past like as you are trying to find, a secret or a mystery or something that might be hidden within its mindscape. There was definitely some opposition.
Yeah. And I bet I navigated some of that really well. And
so
learned some cool shit.
So you are still, it has not been the full 20 minutes yet. You can still like navigate and move around. You have not been able to penetrate to the core of whatever is going on. But there is, you have clearly passed by many doors to this metal landscape, and it is, for your trade, a house's mind is much like other people's representations of their mind, surprisingly house-like. It seems to be a one-to-one kind of existence. This, it's the metaphor for itself is not terribly creative. But regardless of that, there are many doors, and there's still like the long hallway that you traveled through before.
Is there anything that feels like different or off, like rotting wood or something that like would show like a wound or a hurt,
Yes.
or like that it would be trying to hide or something?
Yes, there is. There is out of those hundreds and hundreds of doors, you sort of backtrack from where that voice was like coming, where the doors had gotten quite large and monstrous. You backtrack towards a couple of doors in a cluster that have the same sort of like wooden sort of signs, crisscrossing them, like the painted ones that were in the house, warning, do not enter, do not trust.
Mm-hmm.
But this time they're written in like really really garbled, scary, cryptic sigils instead of an understandable language. This is sort of a mental space, and writing wouldn't be one-to-one like in a dream. And the wood behind it isn't just rotting; there is like a dark liquid that is flowing down from it, and it's sort of like the wood is rotten and gross. It is a dark and rushing water that is sort of inside the door, but also sort of like on top of it, like it's rotted through and through, and is now like partly this stream of liquid.
Okay. And does it seem like it's like a part of the door, or can I tell that it's coming from like the ceiling above the door, like a floor above and going to a floor below? Is it more like a waterfall, or like in the frame or whatever?
So yeah, so despite the dreamlike nature of this place and like the confusing melange of architecture, this is your vocation, this is your domain, and you can see very clearly that it is coming from the door itself. The water is emanating at the top of the door jamb. It is flowing through the door. It is disappearing at the seal of the door on the bottom. The door itself and the jamb of the door is rotten. It is not the house around it.
Okay.
And that's sort of, but the rot has been spreading to the areas around it. Like the rottenness is like affecting some of the doors nearby and on the floor and like a bit of the ceiling and possibly whatever's behind the door as well. But the water itself is coming from the door.
Okay. I'm having two thoughts. What I want to do is see what's behind the door, but I am aware that if the door is in too much pain, like if this is like a tender spot in a muscle, and if I interact with it, the house might like basically like
spasm
squeeze up and shake me off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking about like when I scritch the cat in the wrong spot and she's like, no, not there. And I'm like, okay. Because everywhere it was fine 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So I want like, is there something that can be like, that it can be, is this something that could be salvaged or helped, or is this something that should be moved like through, is what I'm trying to figure out.
Interesting. I roll for will.
Okay, let's see. I will. Oh, D10. All right. It's a 3.
It's a 3.
We're rolling.
Oh, and I meant to burn grit too, and I didn't burn grit. Okay.
You did it.
Well, Erica rolled pretty high earlier.
One
That's
time.
true.
I did roll a nat.
So yeah, you are.
You rolled a 9 too.
Yeah, that's a success and a 9. So you rolled a 3. You are in luck. 2. This so you do you touch it? Do you dare? Are you trying to perceive whether to do something or not, or in this mindscape, or is thought action? How do you want to play it?
I feel like if I touch it enough to like, or I get close enough to receive information without like giving pressure. You know what I mean?
So you touch the water and the water pulses. It also, it's like it pulses around. Like it is weird because like the hallway is lit like however a spectral, mental, like haunted house, mind palace hallway is lit, like one does.
Yeah.
But the door itself, like the water is very dark still, like it's deep beneath the earth, or like it is like poorly lit still in this hallway. You touch it, and the water itself like ripbles and spasms around it. You are not affected by it, like it is not trying to consume you.
Okay.
But you, like, in touching it, like you have succeeded in this particular instance of overcoming its one restriction, and you find yourself not quite going through the door, like pushing through like water. It is more like you are pushing into it, and then the orientation changes. So you are suddenly like dipping down into a pool of water, this like dark, like you smell that it is not actually water. It smells like very, very pungent. It's some sort of old resinous wood stain. It is like an Icarus wood stain.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the same kind you've seen in parts of the house, like the banisters, of the staircase, and like some other places, and like so it is. It's, but like as you get into it, like you're, rather than like hearing the like get out, you start hearing a. It's very much the sound that Barracks was describing. Like it is a deep breeze, like a deep wind, like a.
Yeah.
You hear something breathing in, you smell this pungent thing, and it's a very overwhelming experience. So we're going to go back to the landing. DCI Beans and Fasole. Are you going to enter into the hallway or continue to throw things into it?
I am not unwilling to throw more, and I actually want to recover my pipe for sentimental reasons.
Okay.
Fasole, what is your
Yeah.
expert questing?
Well,
idea?
I'm really excited by whatever sound is happening up here. I kind of want, if this is a sound spell that
I'm sorry,
I
you should let the questers, though. The questers. We have questers here.
I would like you to get to the bottom of what is happening.
We would all like the same thing, I think.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll come with you then, I guess. It's okay.
Fasole, maybe a large, dangerous, knightly person, you could just, walk forward and like fight whatever is there if it is in fact dangerous, or what do you think?
Well, I wouldn't fight a room, but I would fight a villain.
Oh, okay. Well, what if the room is okay? I don't want to get mired in another.
Yeah,
For
what
that,
if
the room
itself
seems
is
very
really-
nice. It was making music with us.
No, yes, this room does not seem. It just made a sound. Yeah, sounds on their own, scientifically not necessarily villainous. I mean, I guess.
I think Fasole takes Beans's point and walks forward, still sort of sloshing a little bit.
Like dripping out of the armor,
like very hollow clanks. Yeah, like broo broo. And with the hammer, just tries to go like, dunk 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 dunk.
like trying to make sounds with it.
That's what
But
I was
specifically, dunk 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 dunk.
Yeah, this is the sound that all scientists make to
As
contact
all scientists
their-
know, this is a universal. Very, very, very quickly. Like there's a very brief pause, and you hear the sloshing of water, the dropping of a bunch of xylophones down a staircase, and then the cracking of a roof. But it's like, clonk, 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 clonk. And then
it's working.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
You've established communication. There you go.
This is great. Good job.
Yeah. This is, guys, I sort of feel funny up here. I don't really, okay, well, let's just keep going. Look, here we are. Okay, well, it turns out maybe this is some really interesting communicative apparatus inside the house itself. Like maybe I was scared just because it was doing its thing. I don't know.
I think the basement is talking to us.
The basement is talking to us. Jazz house.
We don't know if it's a basement or a house, or even if a basement is a house or not. This is unresolved, but Yeah, I think I'm gonna scamper around and just keep
Cool.
eyes open. Still, like we're trying to be wary, not caught off guard by dangers. But
Yeah. So at this point, like your both of yours bravery is inspiring Exponent a little bit, and he is starting to look around, and he is sort of like starts hesitantly taps something, and like the rippling sound of water, or like waves his hands and like tries to make a whooshing sound, but like it sounds like paper crumpling, and he's getting really excited and starts like running around and like starts scampering and tapping and like hitting everything and hearing how all of the sounds are inverted in this weird space, and he's like laughing like, ha, this is okay. I was scared before, but now I'm not. I've learned a little bit about bravery. It's so great. We can make so much more money doing this.
this is good. Perhaps not related to our quest, but I'm glad that you have had a personal revelation as well.
Let him cook.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he's running around and he's tapping on stuff. And he's like, "Oh my god, it's really great!" The sounds are getting like a little bit louder as he's doing it, and like he's hitting the things, and like there's icicles falling and fire and all this stuff, and he seems to not be able to like stop himself. He's just getting a little overexcited.
Okay, is he in danger? Does he seem like he's in danger?
Well, the sounds are getting louder and louder and louder. And he seems to be doing it faster and faster. I don't know if that qualifies as danger or not, but it's the sounds are getting quite cacophonous and really, starting to overlap, and it's kind of getting hard to hear his own laughter over it because his laughter is also changing into other sounds as he's saying it. Yeah, that's what's happening.
Try putting a rest in there.
No, I'm not going to rest. I'm just going to keep going. This is the most fun that I've ever had with something. And he starts like jumping up and down and stomping. As he sort of stomping, the crinkling sound of paper happens, and then there's more crinkling sounds of paper, and then more and more and more and more, and it's sort of like you start seeing like a little bit of like kind of like a translucent papery substance starts coming out of the floorboards, and it starts like kind of crumpling around him, not like enwrapping him, but sort of like covering him up. He's like, "Oh, this is really great. This is like protective armor. I really like this. I can be like you. I'm just gonna keep doing this." Yeah. So it's like increasingly enclosing him as he's making more and more sounds. He's also getting a little bit taller.
Huh.
What?
Taller. Tall fucks.
Taller in that like he's being raised up by the paper, or taller in that he's actually like increasing in size?
It's getting hard to tell because there's more and more of this translucent paper which is coming up from
Is it like the Photoshop tool, or like you took an image and you stretched it?
No, it is more like this sort of like paper shell is sort of like adding on to him.
Okay.
It's like if you ever like made a paper mache thing where like you take a bunch of paper and you put tape around it, and then you use that to make a paper mache shape.
Okay.
Bigger. That's sort of what is happening to him. The more sounds he makes,
he's getting mummified. Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Well, he's getting tall. He's not getting mummified. He's getting bigger. He's getting more volume to him.
Okay. So Ethan, there's a spell that transforms loud sounds into visual illusions, or vice versa. That would mean he would instantly shut up if I use that, because I would steal the sounds in order to make the illusion. Correct?
Awesome. Go for it.
Okay. I was gonna. So it costs 3 grit. So I'm gonna burn 3 grit. I'm down to 4 grit. So I'm feeling like I really need to eat just a lot of trash.
So describe the spell.
Yeah. So he's becoming some sort of tallified. Horribly laughing paper fox monster.
Yeah.
If it seems to link to the sound, then I just cast the spell however it works quietly, presumably like a little human, like I suddenly stand up and look less skunk like, and I'm doing like wizard hand gestures, but I'm still a skunk. So it's like kind of the awkward animal on 2 feet thing. And I just make it so all of the sounds become illusory versions of me, but me 2 years ago when I was a human. So like a 54-year-old man in like okay shape, in like a early modern suit, just like wandering around. It's like each loud sound makes another one of me just who instantly tries to investigate down the hallway. So I'm trying to two birds one stone here, just shut him up. And then I think also try to move toward him and try to like, and maybe try to also gesture like, come on, some help here. Like, let's get this guy to stop turning into a tall monster.
Yeah, so he's getting taller and taller, but you are, there's more and more of you because you are converting all of these sounds, it's like a double spell at this point. Like the spell is turning all of the sounds into different sounds, and the sounds keep like wrapping him up and like increasing the volume of who he is. And now this other spell is like attaching to it, and it like quickly like turning it into more and more DCI Beans simulacrum as fast as it's happening. So there's more and more 50 something okay shaped men in trench coats like pulling off more and more of this stuff, and the space is starting to fill up, but you are succeeding. He's starting to get down in volume a little bit, and the more you succeed, like there is now like this sort of shuddering in the room. And you just hear from down from the banister of the hallway, you hear no, and the walls start shaking. But you have succeeded in pulling all of this like papery ectoplasmic substance off of him, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on. What's happening? What?
You're being tollified, and also now there's someone yelling, so we must maybe
I felt
run away from that."
He's like, he puts his paws up. He's like, I felt so really powerful for a second.
They were turning you into a mummy.
What? I don't want to be a mummy. That's awful.
We're going to be quietly powerful. Sometimes people have to be quietly powerful to be more loud later on. It's some kind of metaphor. Just it is not my bailiwick.
Have you heard 433? It's a very wonderful composition.
No, I haven't, but I'll get a record, or I'll hire a minstrel. I'll hear that. I'll get a bard to play that for me. That sounds interesting too.
Karaoke back in the day.
I'm being quiet. I'm being very quiet. I'm being quiet.
Okay, we're going to scamper back down. Or actually, there was yelling down as well. Faisal, what do you think? This seems like a dangerous tactical situation.
Well, it seems like whoever was trying to turn our friend into a mummy probably didn't succeed at turning into a mummy.
This seems right.
Yeah. So the sound was coming not down the hallway of the thing, but down from where you guys came originally.
Well, we have to go back down. Well,
yeah.
It doesn't seem like there's actually anything too dangerous. No, everything seems pretty dangerous. Fuck.
Once everything becomes dangerous, it's all kind of the same.
Is Bessemer still doing her thing, or is it possible?
Yeah, I think at this point, like it is, you've got a couple more, like maybe like one more action left in this spell, and then it's going to resolve itself. So you are now in this pool, and it is this pungent resinous smell that's happening, and things are shaking. This thing isn't happy. Like you get this sense of like unhappiness, and then from somewhere in there's like a little sliver of malice, just like a little tiny bit of malice in there. Yeah. So there's gloom, there's rot, there's this dark rushing water, and there's this one little sliver of something else.
Okay. And so to clarify, the way this works is that I don't leave a trace of me being there behind me. Mm-hmm. So if I take an action, I can take an action and it still won't leave a trace.
Right. You aren't actually doing anything. It's all like you're interacting with like metaphors, and you're not like touching a neuron. You're sort of like in the candle of the brain.
Well, I've had an idea. And so I start to sing, but very quietly. I do like an ooh, and it starts to sound like in a cathedral when it's just a very soft but like resonant, like delicate note. What happens?
Let's see.
I thought you were gonna say, what if I give it good vibes?
Yeah, I think that's.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing. I just want it to be in a sound wave.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, which one would this be? Yeah. So you are in doing this, like the area of the water right around you, starts to hum too. With this resinous Icarus liquid, it hums too, and it's still clearly like this resonant stain, but it like for whatever reason doesn't seem like it had the kind of bad like vibe that it had before. It's just like, you know, it's whatever the non-toxic version of turpentine is. It'd be very toxic to this regardless of where you are, but it's a metaphor. It becomes
Lemon
a little
juice?
bit like, it becomes a little lemon juice. It becomes like transparent, like terpenoid or lemon juice or something like that. And astringent. And then, you know, when you as you stop humming, it very quickly like bubbles the same way that the door did with the steel, and it comes back and it turns back into like that sort of like rumbling liquid. You know, you hear this sloshing sound kind of moving forward like towards you in this sort of like pool of water that you're in. And you know, it is this stomping sound, and it's you hear somebody be like, you know, like, "Ah, where is it? Why isn't this working? What's going on? What's happening out?" Like, "Oh, this should be. Oh, why isn't this shit holding there? Oh, it's supposed to be like this sound. Ah, why isn't this happening? What's going on?" It's very, very frustrated. And that sound, and this is sort of the last moment before you come back out of your spell, whatever that voice was, the like, you hear it sort of like go like, "Oh, this is uncanny. What's you sort of pull back out of the spell." That voice was the sliver of malice.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, as you're pulling back out, like you are seeing like a lot less monstrous doors than when you came in. You're, you know, as you zoom back out of the hallway the same way that you came, and like you pull back and you are kneeling where you were starting from on this weird banister.
Excellent. And no one is around.
No one is around. You are completely alone on this banister with a single candle or kerosene light, and then just pure darkness around it.
Okay. Oh, I know I should wait, but I don't want to.
Okay. Are you going up or down?
I think I'm going to sing.
Go for it.
And I think I take a look at the kerosene light, and I think about the little flame earlier that I asked if it wanted to come with me, and it did. And in my head, I'm like, "Oh, you get ready, light." And I just let out this, like, I take a nice deep breath in, and I let out this like very like resonant, pure but like clear, but like splitting sound. It's both good, but a little bit alarming at the same time. And I'm kind of like, I wonder where the fuck everybody is. This might help me find out. And on the other hand, I'm like, before I go up to the third floor, I'm certainly going to see what happens if I do some shit. That's what I do.
People are asking, does it have the sound of a prayer bowl? Are there any lyrics?
It's kind of like a crystal being struck or a prayer bowl. Like if you hear like,
oh, hold on.
It's kind of like that
aria,
like that was down.
Yeah. Can you do it for a bit?
Yeah.
Ring it. Can do it for a bit. Yeah, that's good.
That's great.
But it's like
as you do that, like the little flickering candle does exactly what the flame did before. It flickers orange, and it sort of separates out from the kerosene or whatever kind of fakey lantern it was. You know, and it's right by you on the voice. It recognizes that you're there. But also at the same time that it happens, you hear from somewhere in the dark, you can't tell if it's up or down or side, you hear a voice go, "No!"
Okay. Nothing else happens.
Nothing else happens. You hear some sort of snapback, and now this little light is sort of like following you around like glue, like it's stuck to you like glue, like a puppy dog. It is
I
not
love it.
leaving your side.
It's my new friend.
It's your little flame pet. Yeah, it is. It does not want to go anywhere that you are not. Yeah. So we are rounding out the end of our session. It is now 9:00. The parties are just one story away from one another. They have
Do I
discovered.
join back up with Fassel?
Yeah, her suit. Are you back? Did you run up the landing with Facilate?
I wanted to come back to get the Expedinia.
Expa 9. Yeah. So you want to. You want to grab the fox and then barrel down the stairs back towards the door.
And like chuck him outside. You're free now.
Yeah.
Like fly free.
Goodbye. Yeah.
Yeah. So you basically football carry a little fox who's like, oh, I've just learned like nature of bravery and some other things. That's really, really yeet. And the fox goes,
Goodbye, my vulpine friend.
oh yeah, I'll see you guys there.
You should not apply to work for the gendarmerie. You really should stick to the stage.
So yeah, now the party is together, and the lights in the house are starting to dim, and they are dimming more and more, except for a small little flickering flame that is with your party. And that brings us to the end of session 2 of the House of Eaves, the basement. Better title to be decided future.
Yeah, we weren't
Syntax bad.
the entire
Yeah.
time.
Could be in the sliver of malice.
The sliver of
sliver.
malice.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Sliver.
I
That's
feel like
pretty
we
good.
referenced like 4 or 5 different like songs, and we could
Yeah.
probably mash them all into one title.
I
That'd be
like it.
great, like a girl talk version of.
Yes.
all the-
Yeah.
So Ethan, are we all together, or are we all together other than Bessemer, who's below us?
You are, so I think that you are now moving towards each other. Bessemer is down here. You guys are up here, and I think are coming down. Her suit has taken Exponine and basically ran down the landing, huffed him out, and then is now on floor. So you were each one floor away from each other,
Oh,
but
great.
are all
Perfect.
grouped together. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, everyone, thanks for viewing. Ethan, thanks for running the game, and we'll be back in 2 weeks, right?
That's correct.
Okay, for
Um,
part 3.
Awesome. Thanks so much for watching us play the Sometimes Kingdom Autumn campaign, The House of Eaves. And a big thank you to all of our players. And also, you should also check out Stillfleet at wherever social media is offered, stillfleet.com. Check out our amazing grid system games. We've got Blister Critters coming out also. And we hope
What's
to
that?
hear from you all soon. It is a really incredible post-apocalyptic cartoon animal game.
Yeah, so we'll have the Sometimes Kingdom and the cartoon post-apocalypse game, and we also have, of course, the Sometimes Kingdom in development. So we have a Patreon if you want to know more and get exclusive, early access to rules. That's where we do that. And otherwise, yeah, we're going to post lots of games, and we play all the time on the Discord server. So, come check us out.
What if
all right.
Patreon posts were part of a book? You
They-
get like
What
book.
if
They
You get,
kind of
like,
are.
book content.
they're coming?
As a patron.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Why,
Yeah.
as a patron, you'll get many muchly content in a variety of genres using the grid system.
And people in the future wondering what's a meditation bowl or what is a bowl. You have
what is
bigger
a bowl?
problems
What
with
is
the irradiated wasteland you are currently finding yourself in.
That's
Like,
true.
maybe
what
just
is
imagine for a bit. And
This
What
has
is
been
bowl?
Bowl Talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for playing.
Welcome
we'll,
to Bowl Corner.
Bowl
if
Next
anybody
time we'll
would
tell
like
you
to
what it
shout
is.
out their internet handles, God, I'm so old. Internet handles, Christ, it's fine, Ethan.
You can
Please.
find me on the World Wide Web
Yeah,
at
there it
Good
is.
Gay Content.
Yeah, my IRC username. No,
Oh my God!
it's just my name. It's Ben.
As I blow away in 1,000 years of
My
dust.
BlackBerry number is
Yeah.
All
they have
right.
separate numbers.
In the
All right.
end, baby.
Good night, everybody.
Ending the stream. Good night. See y'all in 2 weeks.